Welcome to the channel. My name is Michael and you are here to find out how I reached 850 FICO credit score. Come with me on this journey and I will help you improve your credit score so you can reach it too. The first thing I'll say is you're never going to want to miss a payment. If your minimum is $35, you pay that $35 and you pay it either early or on time, never late. If you are late, that is going to be once a month. All these credit cards, all they do is report it to Experian, Equifax, or TransUnion once a month, and it displays how you're paying your payments. They don't care the exact amount, but they care, are you paying your payments on time? Did you miss a payment this month? All those things are reported to them once a month, and those will fluctuate your score every month. It goes up or down. It all depends on exactly how you are responsible in that month. So you never miss a payment because that is going to negatively impact your score. If you try and go get another credit card, they're going to look at your credit report and see, oh, they've missed payments, or oh, they don't pay their bills on time. So when you try and apply for a loan, you try and go get a car, your interest rates are going to be based on whatever your score is. How much money they give you is based on your score and partly your debt to income ratio. So the first thing you want to do is never be late. Never miss your payments. The second thing is sometimes people want to pay more than the minimums on their payments, but they want to pay it later in the month because, well, they're going to be paying more. So let's give an example. If somebody has a payment that is due on the 5th of the month for $50 for their minimum, but they're going to get extra money on the 10th of the month and make an extra $50 payment above that. So they're going to pay $100 on the 10th. So they wait, they pay it on the 10th, and what happens? Credit Union Bureau doesn't care that you paid an extra $50. They care that you were late. So you don't want to be late to your payment. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to pay $50 when it was due, before the due date preferably. Then you're going to want to, on the 10th, get that extra cash. You pay an extra second payment towards that credit card. You never want to be late because the credit union bureaus are watching as to whether you're going to make your payments on time. Are you a high-risk person, or are you someone who's going to be loyal and pay your debts when they're due? Credit union bureaus are wanting to watch how you are doing it, not the amount necessarily, how you're doing it. Now, something else that has negatively impacted my credit score, and that was many years ago, I decided that I'm too much in debt. I got to close my credit cards. Well, that's not so easily said and done. So what happened was I closed about 5 credit cards all within the same month, and my credit score shot down hundreds of points the next month. I didn't understand why. I was like, I'm just closing these credit cards. Shouldn't that make my credit score go up? Nope. What they want to do is credit bureaus, they want to see how you're making your payments. They don't care exactly the credit cards. They want to know, making your payments, are they being made on time? What's your debt to income ratio? So by closing all those accounts, it affected my debt to income ratio, and so that negatively affected my score. Then they saw, well, perhaps is he in trouble? Why did he close 5 cards all at the same time? To not negatively affect your score for any credit cards that you do want to close, this is the solution that I have found. You're going to want to close one credit card every 6 months. The best bet is to leave the credit card open. Here's my example. So your credit card has 0 balance. Let's say all 5 of those ones that I wanted to close all have 0 balance. Now, let's say I have $30,000 available that I can technically spend on all my credit cards combined. Right now, there's $10,000 of it being spent. So there's $20,000 on these 5 credit cards that the $20,000, all those credit cards are at 0 balance. So my debt to income ratio looks better with, I only owe $10,000, but I technically could be spending $30,000. So they're saying he's using his money pretty wisely. He's not using too much of his actual, possible debt that he could accrue by charging all those credit cards. But if I close all 5 of those credit cards, $20,000 goes away that I had 0 balance on. Now all the credit union bureau is going to see is you owe 10 grand and you're maxed out. Negatively affects your score. Everything's going to drop. So the solution that I would actually say would be keep the credit card open, keep the 0 balance that is on it. So I have credit cards that a whole bunch of them, 0 balance on those credit cards. When I charge, it hits the account, I pay it off. Keep paying those credit cards. The 5 that I had, this is how I would do it. Every 3 months or so, go buy something on one of those credit cards. Pay it off. Go buy something on the other credit card. Pay it off. Keep those with being active by buying something on there every 3 months. Keeps your credit going, and the longer you have that credit open on your account, the better it will be. I have one credit card that has been open for 25 years. Every 3 months, I go to the Shell gas station and I use my Shell gas card and I buy something on Shell. I go in, I make a payment. It is still going. 25 years so far. It continues on because they see activity on it. It's been paid off. And because I have zero balance on that credit card and others, my debt to income ratio looks extremely well. So what I would suggest would be keep those credit cards, use them every once in a while, pay them off, keep your balance down to zero, get rid of that extra $10,000 that you have that you owe. That way your credit score will look better and it'll help you raise your actual credit score because they will see that you are paying off the $10,000 you still owe, but they will also see you could potentially be another $20,000 in debt and you are choosing not to. So it actually looks better to them to see that you are not actually charging money and that you have self-control. One thing that can affect your credit score also is to co-sign. Yes, some people, we all want to help, but in some regard, you have to understand that you can't help everybody. They have a bad credit score for a reason. Now, if it's somebody younger who's just getting out of high school, they want to get their first car, their parents want to help them out, that's different. I'm talking about, let's say the person's, 27 years old, they have bad credit, and they're asking for someone to co-sign so they can get a car. The payment's going to be $600 a month. Well, if they don't pay that bill, you're paying it. They have a bad credit score for a reason. They've been around long enough to where they should have been able to get their credit in check, get their credit score raised up so you don't need to have somebody co-sign. And yes, you might feel bad that you want to help them out, and that's what my channel is. Let's help one another. The thing is that I understood is you can't help everyone. You can try and help people, but sometimes it's just, you can't do it all. Because if they don't make their payment, you have to make that car payment of $600 a month, and can you afford it? If you have a mortgage, you have your own car, your car insurance, you got food, inflation's going up, are you going to be able to do it? Probably the chances are no. So you're going to be dealing with the headache, doing all these things. So it'd be better to have whoever that is be a little upset with you that, man, I wish you would have co-signed for me, rather than, man, you haven't been paying your car. Now I got to go try and figure out how to get it sold and repossessed so I could get this off my record. And now your credit score is negatively affected because someone else is not making their payment. So I would highly suggest in most cases to not co-sign. It is not a good deal from what I have found. And I would suggest you save yourself a lot of headache and a lot of issues with your credit scores by not co-signing. Also, one thing you want to avoid is getting a credit check. If you're applying for a house loan or a car, let's say that you are interested in getting a car. You're not quite 100% sure, but you want to see if you can qualify to get a car. You go to the car dealership, you have them run your credit, and then you decide, I'm not going to end up getting the car anyway. Well, now that's going to stay on your record for 2 years. Yes, they ran your credit score goes down because they see that you're trying to get a loan. I don't understand exactly 100% why it will always go down whenever you apply for credit. It doesn't just read the score. It'll say, oh, here's your score. And now that you have applied, it's gone down. But it happens. The thing that I found is you don't get that car. Now your credit score is down. 4 months down the road, you're like, okay, now I really want that car. Well, since you just had that, credit run on TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, they're going to see that, oh, he wants to get another loan. Now your score has been reduced because of the first time. Now you have 2 credit checks on your report, and it'll take 2 years for those to be removed. That negatively affects your score, and that's really going to hurt you when you want to actually get a better rate for a car loan or a home. You want to make sure that you are firm in exactly what you're going to do. Are you going to buy the car? Yes. You go in, you have your credit ran, and you're done. If you're going to buy a house, you do it once, have your credit ran, Find out what it is, you have it printed out, and you can show them right then and there what that credit score is. You go to the next lender, you can show them that printout, but you don't have it continually being ran, because 2 years down the road, it'll finally be dropped off, then your credit score goes up. So every time you have your credit ran, it goes down. One of the last things I would like to suggest is, if you're going to open credit cards, try and open one every 12 to 18 months. If you can avoid opening multiple credit cards, I would do so. I would try and get Discover, MasterCard, American Express, or Visa above all these department stores. You get better APR for the credit card. And yes, I know Home Depot or Lowe's or Kohl's or Target, they might give you deals, let's say, for that day. If you sign up now, you can do Macy's, save $100, save $50, save 10% today if you open a credit card. Well, by opening multiple credit cards, you're going to negatively affect your credit score, and it's going to bring it down. If you have all these major credit cards that are accepted everywhere and also give you points, there's really no point in opening all these extra credit cards. You save $50, but now your credit score went down. You save $50, but if you would have went the other way and just kept the card that you had, you would have received a few points from that credit card, and it wouldn't have negatively impacted your credit score. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make sure that your credit is in top shape by not opening so many credit cards. We don't need so much credit to have cards every single department store that we go to. Major credit cards are available to be accepted everywhere. And I would suggest avoiding all these types of department stores with high APRs, because they're all about trying to make sure people aren't paying their payments so they can collect all that interest. The more you are not paying your bills, the more money they get to collect from all that interest. So I would suggest try not to open credit cards as much as possible. And if you're going to open them, try and open the major credit cards. I understand that when you're first starting out, my credit card when I first started was a Shell gas card. That's how I began. And I still have that same card 25 years later. Sometimes you have to do credit cards like that with high APRs. So I would suggest, if you're just starting out, get yourself a department store, because they're going to have high APRs, but make sure you're paying on time, you're never late. That will build you up. And eventually you'll be able to apply for getting different types of credit cards, the major ones, which will give you a better APR, and they will typically give you a better actual amounts on the credit. So they might give you a $1,000 credit limit versus your department store that gave you $250. So those are examples of different ways that you might be able to end up raising your credit score to become the high 800s, 700s, 725 and above is typically a really good score. 850 is your max. And if you follow this journey, I believe that you too can reach the top. Thank you for watching. Catch you on the next video.